Alright, let's get started. Good morning, Chloe. It's January 22nd, and I'm here to talk to you about sort of a depressing subject, war. But not just regular kind of war with guns and tanks and blood and death and all that stuff. No, this is a much more tragic and longer-lasting war than any of those. And what is the casualty? Good sound engineering. Let me start from the beginning. So you have your record companies, and at your record companies you have your record company executives. Now their primary goal, of course, is to make money, but their secondary goal in order to get to their primary goal is to make sure their music is heard. The music of the artists that they represent, of course. And the label executives still know that one of the best ways to get your music heard is through the radio. I can't believe it's 2013 and I'm still saying that. So, record executives, and through them their engineers, will do whatever they can to make sure that their music is able to be heard. And what they've determined is that if somebody is cycling through radio stations, they are most likely to stop on the one that is playing the loudest music. Label engineers have decided that the best way to get music across is to make sure that it's being played the loudest without overloading any sort of audio interface, such as speakers, headphones, things like that. And don't get me wrong, I love radio. I'm really glad that label heads and artists are able to get their music across to people. But at what cost? Enter our friend compression. Compression, for the purposes of this video, is a processor that sound engineers like to use that kind of evens out the sound. For example, if you're recording a snare drum and the player is really inconsistent, that some of the hits are louder than others, compression makes it so that all the hits sound the same. Well, on the same level. They don't sound exactly the same. That would be horrifying. It actually takes the waveform, which is the visual representation of the sound that all engineers use, and it takes the outer edges up to a certain point and literally compresses it. It squishes it. It's actually really handy in moderation. However, for this purpose, it is not so good. So when you take your sound, you compress it, you can actually turn it even louder. This is helpful if you have like a really quiet track. However, you can only turn the sound up so much before it starts to clip and it just sounds terrible through your speakers. So what compression does is it compresses it, and then you're able to turn it up even louder without clipping. You compress it more and you can turn it up even louder, and you compress it more and then you turn it up even louder, and I think you know where I'm going with this. Some people say that pop music on the radio only has two levels, loud and louder, and that's kind of true, because while there might be some kind of dynamic contrast in original songs, radio mixes is just compressed and cranked up as loud as it will go, which, as you can imagine, makes for absolutely horrifying sound. It's also bad news for really talented sound engineers. Why pay thousands of dollars for a quality recording when you can just go to Guitar Center and pay $100 and get it recorded, compressed, and you can play it on the radio? And yeah, I admit it, I'm guilty of compressing my songs so I can turn them up even louder. That's because GarageBand is so quiet that when you export to iTunes, it's just not loud at all. So that's basically the loudness war, Chloe. It's horrifying, and I hope that it would stop, but it probably won't, because we're obsessed with pop music and the radio and the loudness. I'll see you on Thursday.